Hello. We've all heard of Luca Manigrassi, judge, pesto lover, ginger, and international man of mystery. This is the story of how the man became the world-renowned symbol of hope and basil that he has, and explores his fall from grace through the eyes of those who knew him in his youth. Using exclusive interviews, this documentary will examine the life and works of a man who has become an emblem for peace, the rule of law, and the pursuit of the perfect pesto. This is Luca Manigrassi. Conceived and born in the small Ethiopian village of Dir Dawa on the border of Somalia, Luca Manigrassi was born to modest parents, shown here enjoying a traditional meal of UN aid rice. Put up for adoption on the account of the ludicrous colour of his hair, Luca was eventually adopted by a kindly Italian family who fought off fierce competition from Irish visitors who were convinced that he would be able to lead them in the direction of the mythical pot of gold supposedly to be found at the far end of a colourful meteorological condition frequent in the country. Taken to Genoa, in Italy, Luca began his life as a red-blooded and red-haired Italian, and we spoke to the people who knew him from then onwards.
Let me tell you one thing. This whole thing is bullshit, because Luca is okay. And you can trust me. I don't remember precisely when I met him, but what I can tell you, I was a young guy at the time, just wanted to start a new life abroad, and that was when I met him. I remember I was impressed. I could listen him speaking for hours about pesto and law and how this would have changed the world. Just fantastic. And then we started to have some business together. Let me tell you the real story.
It was clear from the time when Luca could walk that he had two passions in life, really. The law and pesto. I'm a bit younger than Luca, but we all thought to ourselves, it's all fine and large, his love of pesto, but this whole law business, we were just all scared he might turn out to be a bit, different. His devotion to pesto has rarely deviated, really. I mean, occasionally there were competing fads, like his brief fixation on Swedish Waza crackers during his time in Gothenburg. He was temporarily hooked on those, I guess. But he never stays away from his main passions. That's the story of his life, really. He always returns to what he knows and loves. We always knew he would go on to great things, but we didn't quite realize the magnitude of what he was going to go on and do.
Senator, tell us, how do you respond to the reactions? How do you respond to the allegations against Luca Manigrassi, judge of the...
I won't answer this. I have nothing to hide. Huh? I've met Luca Manigrassi at Genoa University. He was studying law, which was fine, I guess. But it was clear from the beginning, law was not his great passion. Youngsters in the 20s, they like to experiment. They go with women, they try drugs, they go at the stadium, they engage in student politics. Not Luca. No. He has his own things going on.
He had basically turned his room into, let's say, a garden center. Seriously, the guy had the lamps and everything. He didn't have a computer though, but he had a very expensive blender. And he was always in contact with this guy from down the road, Giovanni, whose business consisted of almost exclusively selling pine nuts and olive oil. Weird.
When did you met him? I told you 100 times. I met him in Strasbourg. We were there together. I was working at the council of Europe. And he was working, I don't know, maybe for the anti-trafficking office, I don't remember. But I met him there.
Tell me about the girls.
I don't know about the girls. They were all the time together. He was surrounded by girls. And I remember they wanted something from him. They wanted something, I don't know what. It was not about sex. He was inviting them to dinner. Every night, day and night, they were at his home, eating together. And one girl told me that it was something real. It was something evil.
Luca, it seemed, had already established himself as having two clear passions, the law and Pesto, and had made his way across the four corners of Europe already to pursue that aim. Of course, Luca always had a third passion.
You have a funny story about it. Luca once organized a party at the bar, a gin party at the bar. And the odd part of it is that he didn't actually invite anyone. But still, he managed to have his own fun, and when we finally show up, he was drunk like a sailor. He was lying on the floor, all naked, singing his favorite song, Il mio piccolo grande bellino. Still, I really enjoy what became our normal habit, so our gin and tonic night. Luca, though, was very hard to be persuaded that gin and tonic didn't just involve gin. Party lasts a long time, until Abu finally ran out of gin.
I met Luca in Bruges. I wish I hadn't, frankly. You know, it's rather hard to avoid people at the college, or given how small it is. But he was everywhere, and I mean everywhere. Plus he was obsessed. On one occasion, I was at the canteen, and I happened to choose spaghetti bolognese over pesto. I didn't see him behind me, so I started saying how much pesto sucks compared to bolognese sauce, which is what I really think. But the man, he turned green, I mean, like Pesto Hulk green, and then I blacked out. I stayed in a wheelchair for 3 years, and now I have these crutches, and I'll have them for a long time. Bloody Manigrassi!
Well, despite the anger management, Pesto-related thing at the canteen, I actually went on to live with him after being assistant together in Bruges. Well, it was okay. I mean, he continued to cultivate the two passions. He knew his way around a bottle of beer, and he knew how to cultivate a pot of pesto, which the house was full of, actually, at the time. Really, I never understood how he could make this combination work.
I met him in Brussels. Maybe it was his hair or his affection for smoking hot gypsies. Well, one way or another, I met him at the Flagey market. He was trying to negotiate some basil. He was already carrying a whole pack of them, and yet he was trying to secure more supply. And the guy told him to piss off, and well, he didn't take that well. He was really pissed off, but somehow we bonded over a beer or two. Well, a beer or two, I must say, he was drinking quite heavily for. But what was this beer again that he was always bringing back from Bruges?
The gal. My, oh my, that was his third passion, together with pesto and that weird low thing I never really got. But the place was, they loved him there. They had his picture on the wall. But now that I think about that, it was weird. Like, Eden in this small side street, and the bar owner, we used to call him Papa. But what does it stand for? Was it his dealer? Now that I think about that, might be true. one thing is sure, I mean, the beer is highly addictive. Please, if you go there, stay away from that place, please.
Professor,
Not now. Not now, please. I'll meet you at dinner. I met Luca in Bruges. Well, I stayed and he had to leave. He got arrested for because he was suspected of growing weed in his room. But actually, I think they were just passing by with the car with these heat-seeking cameras, and well, then his UV equipment for growing pesto it just lit up as a Christmas tree. Well, growing pesto, of course, is not a crime in Bruges, wherever, but resisting to arrest and punching a cop is. Well, you know, Luca was never really keen on people touching his stuff, and most of all his basic growing equipment.
So he had to leave Bruges in a hurry, leaving behind his business interests as well as his hot, greasy gypsy girl named Kletia. He had met her at a seedy herb market in the city of Dehan. He always used to go there, and there are these pictures also hanging in the police station. And yeah, that's how he came back to Brussels.
Well, I think at the time he had left all the stuff behind him. He even sent a politely worded note and a tray of chocolate to the police officer he had punched on his face. And then he made his way through this very important law firm, competition law firm. He was a quite important person. He had the stage at the commission at the time, but then he screwed up on this like protected designation of origin business.
I was actually doing a stage while Luca was working for the commission. Now I understand that he had passed the concours, but he had decided not to tell anyone, and merely pretending that it was another traineeship. I understand that he had his reasons, but at the end it turned pretty convenient to save his face with his friends when, at the end of his trial period, the commission sacked him for having co-authored a book criticizing the way the EU was not supporting his idea of protected designation of origin for Genoese pesto.
I know why he went to Harvard. He realized that if he wanted to make his dream come true, he had to step up to the next level. He had to access bigger markets, he had to make contact with the Italian community in the US. He knew how to do pesto, and he wanted a bigger slice of the cake. However, he's innocent, guys. He truly is.
Basta, adesso ci vediamo a cena. After this Basil incident with the Bruges police, I practically lost track of Luca. Well, of course, until he became an EUCJ judge. He directly took the headlines for this Herbst Co. versus French agricultural growers case, the fax case, you know. It was a landmark case. He completely reversed the established case law. Then he quickly became a star of the panel, and media started pointing their attention to him, and they even proposed him as a possible future president of the EU, if I remember well. And this, I think, created also some jealousy in Luxembourg. The thing is that since then, I actually always thought that his main interest was actually to re-establish his pesto business all over Europe.
Oh, that's good. The next anyone heard from him was nearly 10 years later. The media was filled, as we all know, with the news that he had been elected an ECJ judge. It was incredible, really huge. The college man in Luxembourg, everyone in Bruges was immensely proud. His friends were just enormously pleased for him. How could he have gone from drunk to judge in just 10 years? It was something of an achievement. Everyone was very happy for him, as happy as they had been when he had left for Harvard all those years earlier. When Luca took up the judgeship, he set his mind to making a name for himself. He kept everyone guessing. Where would the story take him next?
Things started to unravel eventually. The journalists spotted that his house, spotted on Google Maps, had something like 20 acres of greenhouses, making his the biggest greenhouse in the world, and it was actually dedicated only and solely to the growth of basil. Further concern arose when it became clear that he was involved in the production and sale of Romanian pesto. The pesto had been grown under the auspices of a shell company of which he was the sole owner. Well, it would have been fine, except that the pesto was actually blue. It glowed in the dark. It was kind of a giveaway.
Under investigation, it emerged that Judge Manigrassi had never given up his obsession with pesto. He was abusing his position as an ACJ judge to undermine the validity of EU food and agricultural safety laws. His connections with the Romanian mafia boss Vladimir Ghirlitiescu were particularly damaging. Particularly once it emerged, to our great surprise, that he was actually married to one of his gypsy daughters. Now that I can think of it, I think I've seen him on that British TV show.
It was a silly mistake. Luca had cut corners in his race for market share in Western Europe's competitive pesto market. He had been too distracted by his judge work at the ECJ. A silly cock-up in the factory had resulted in the pesto being mixed with Austrian antifreeze in an industrial warehouse just outside of Bucharest. Despite the fact that the pesto was actually remarkably tasty, the culinary world was just scandalized. The ECJ, a body known to appreciate gastronomic excellence, were swift in their condemnation of him. The family was horrified. How could he take Nonna's world-famous recipe and prostitute it like that? It was shameful. Plus, the ECJ judge outfit made him look like a girl.
Now, as you have all seen, this is the truth. There is more than one way of telling a story. And the truth has always two sides. Pesto and love. But who can judge Luca? Look, think how many great things he's achieved. Everybody should be grateful. But who knows the real Luca?
So, as we've learned, it's all rather come unstuck for this international symbol of law, love and pesto. This Eurocolivision TV investigation understands that he is still in hiding. His Romanian pesto mafia friends have been all over the news talking about the pesto Baron King. Everyone hopes he's okay. But in the meantime, we also hope that he will come out and clear his name. In the meantime, rumour has it that he's escaped to Argentina, where he'll start it all over again. That's all we know. So after all this, is Luca Manigrassi innocent? That is the big question.